Welcome to our special coverage right here on Gyanvapi Truth, because it is one of the biggest surveys of the 21st century that has been conducted, a survey that has bolstered Hindu sites' Astha that Mahadev resides in Gyanvapi. This is what the surveyors led by the court commissioners spotted first when they entered the Wuzukhana in the masjid complex. Take a look at this special report.
It's one of the biggest surveys of 21st century. A survey that has bolstered Hindu sites' Astha that Mahadev resides in Gyanvapi. This is what the surveyors, led by the court commissioner, spotted first when they entered the Wuzukhana, a pond used by the Muslims for ablution, filled with waist-deep water. The water was drained out to see the black structure in its entirety. The Hindu site keen that it was nothing but a Shivling. Each and every movement was monitored with a hawk eye by the stakeholders during the clinching survey carried out between May 14 and May 16. As the last drop of water drained out, a 2.5 feet tall Shivling-like structure emerged. A white color stone was on top of Shivling-like structure. The Hindu side elated at the discovery of Shivling, while the Muslim side termed it a fountain.
जो हमने वहाँ पे विराट और भव्य शिवलिंग देखा था 2.5 फीट का, उसमें किसी न किसी तरह से छेद करके 63 सेंटीमीटर का, और उसको एक फव्वारा बताने की कोशिश की गई, उसमें एक चक्री लगा के उसको घुमाने की कोशिश की गई। ना ये फव्वारा हो सकता है, ना कभी ऐसा फव्वारा किसी ने इंडिया में देखा होगा।
As per the Hindu tradition, Nandi always faces Shivling. Here too, the spot where the Shivling-like structure was found is Nandi's line of sight, but is blocked by a tall iron grill. The similarities are too uncanny, but whose prayers will be answered? That is for the court to decide. Bureau Report, Times Now.
Alright, so you have so far seen the proof of the Shivling-like structure that has now been found and emerged from the Wuzukhana often enough. But of course, it's being disputed as a fountain now from the Muslim side. So of course, we have seen and we have decided to do the simplest thing. Here is the black stone that has emerged from the Wuzukhana when the water was drained from it. That's the visual on the screen right now. Now take a look at the Shivling-like structure that has been found in some of the most famous Shiv temples in India. Here's the Shivling in Somnath, in Mahakaleshwar and in Baidyanath. Mind you, we have also chosen temples from different parts of the country, from Gujarat to Madhya Pradesh to Jharkhand, and when you see the image of the Shivling-like structure side by side, you can best decide what is what.
It was a simple flick of the wrist. But as the key turned in the lock of the Gyanvapi basement, no one could have anticipated the proof that would tumble out. As soon as the surveyors entered, they saw several alcoves that looked like the ones used to keep diyas in a temple. In a corner, the alcoves had a distinct Sanskrit inscription. The report by the court commissioner also says that though the exact words in the engraving were indecipherable, its origin seemed clear. As the surveyors moved further, to their left, they saw 4 of these pillars. Each pillar had 4 lotus flowers each, all the way around. Now here's something interesting. We compared the lotus in this exclusive survey video to what temples around the world have. And we found that not only is this engraving common to almost all temples from Rajasthan to Tamil Nadu, but even some Shiva temples in Cambodia have prominent lotus carvings. Several motifs were prominent, but large parts of the basement also saw damage. Pillars, idols that lay in ruins. However, one idol that caught the eye was that of a crocodile. Incidentally, crocodiles are mentioned in Puranas as vehicles of God. Adi Shankar has a divine relationship with the crocodile. While bathing in a river, a crocodile captured Adi Shankara and released him only when his mother gave him permission to become a saint. The link between Adi Shankara and a crocodile is unmissable, and the significance of this puzzle irrefutable. The images of the survey are before you now. The question though is that if the character of Gyanvapi is that of a temple, if it looks like a temple, can it be allowed to be consecrated as a temple? Bureau Report, Times Now.
So with the help of graphics, let's make our viewers understand exactly what was found in that basement, the very same basement which was earlier locked and was barred. But according to the court orders, it had to be opened up. So as soon as you enter, 2 feet ahead next to the door is a certain wall, and what's there on the wall is something that needs to be noted. On the wall, 3 feet above the ground, are motifs of flowers, something very familiar with Hindu architecture that has been found in temples. Further inside the basement, 4 ancient style pillars at least 8 feet in height. So these are 4 pillars that has been found through animation as we are helping you understand. Each of these pillars has Hindu motifs from top to the bottom all the way around as well. So they are full of Hindu motifs there, lotuses, flower murals that can also be found imprinted on these walls. Now the motifs seen on the pillars are temple bells, kalash, images of flowers, again very similar to Hindu architecture that is found in temples, and these are the motifs that actually give away the details of the presence of a mandir inside the masjid complex. These are the very questions that are being raised, especially with the emergence of the Shivling-like structure, with the Hindu side saying it is convinced that it is indeed a Shivling. Baba mil gaye hain from the Wuzukhana.
The writings on these walls seem eager to break a long silence, maybe ruling out the deniability of what's been etched here since eternity. A video with Times Now shows the western wall of the Gyanvapi Mosque adorned with several symbols and motifs, a metaphor for what may have existed in its glory days.
सत्य को कितना छिपाओगे सत्य उतना उभरेगा। जो बिल्डिंग की पश्चिमी दीवार है उस पर देख लीजिए, दिखा दीजिए, पूरे के पूरे हिंदू कलाकृति है। कितनी कलाकृति गिनाऊं? 100 से ज्यादा है उस पर, जिस पर आप गुंबद टिकाए।
These artifacts and carvings pointing to civilizational roots. Craftsmanship and art resting on the ancient wisdom of the land. Engravings that suggest a pattern and form native to India.
अब बाकी मंदिर के एरिया को ध्वस्त करके पार्शली इसको आपने एक मस्जिद का रूप देने की कोशिश की है, क्योंकि आपने कोई फ्रेश कंस्ट्रक्शन नहीं किया है और वो जो पाप है वो आज सामने साफ बोल रहा है।
These walls may unravel secrets that may have receded from memory with the passage of time. Bureau Report, Times Now.
So even as we are seeing as to how more and more proof is now emerging through video as far as the entire Gyanvapi issue is concerned, our editor-in-chief Rahul Shiv Shankar spoke to the lawyer of the Hindu plaintiffs on what exactly it means as far as these videos are concerned.
These are the tapes that Times Now has accessed, and some of them your legal colleagues are very clearly visible. I think I've even seen you in one of the tapes. First of all, can you tell us a little bit about what we are seeing?
See, Rahul, the time when we entered that area in question, the Wuzu area was completely full with water. It was completely full with water, and at that point of time, this was the second day of survey. At the second day of survey, I pointed out to the Advocate Commissioner to reduce the water level because I could see the outer wall which is visible right now. So the moment I saw this outer wall, I felt that there is something inside. And Rahul, believe me and trust me, the claim which I had made in my petition, I felt that I am very close to it. I requested the Advocate Commissioner that we have one extra day to do the survey, and therefore the survey was carried out on the third day. And when the survey was carried out on the third day, my first endeavor and exercise was to get the water level reduced and somehow enter into the middle of this Vazu area. And when we entered in the middle of the Vazu area, Rahul, I saw a Bhavya Shivling of Lord Mahadev, and I believe, and I strongly believe till today, that it is going more down, and therefore I moved an application that that wall of Wuzukhana also needs to be taken away, so that we can go down. And by no stretch of imagination, Rahul, it can be said to be a fountain. With this conviction, Rahul, I went to the court. I asked the Honorable Court to seal the premises, and then this, you can see that this order has been upheld by the Supreme Court, and the order of the civil judge has subsumed in the order of the Honorable Supreme Court. So the point is this, that this is a Shivling, there is no doubt, and this Shivling was in the middle of the Vaju area.
Okay, so let me ask
and
you,
this is a
Mr. Vishnu Jain,
this exactly matches with our mythological claims.
Okay, are you surprised that the court has forbidden you from making these tapes public, but they have not sought a bar on the media from making this public?
Yes, absolutely correct, Rahul. The legal proposition is this, that today at around 7 o'clock we have received the certified copies of these tapes. The certified copies of these tapes were with us in a sealed cover, and we are going to return it tomorrow to the court. So there is no, so far as this leakage in the media is concerned, we don't know how this leakage has happened. But anyways, you are absolutely right that there is no bar on the media, there is no gag order, and there is freedom of speech and expression, and whatever has been done in the national interest, I think. So therefore it's an issue which has to come before the masses.
So you believe that
because it's not a question, Rahul, of one Vishnu Shankar Jain.
No, go ahead. It's not a question of one Vishnu Shankar Jain.
Yes,
go ahead.
I am saying it's not a question of one Vishnu Shankar Jain or these 5 ladies. Everyone wants that what is the truth of that area must come out before the public, and we are also fighting for a cause. We are not fighting for a personal interest. So the point is this, that in such nature of cases where the issue is of a representative capacity, definitely 5 petitioners there in the forefront, but they are also fighting for the community, and therefore the real thing and everything should come out. Right to know is an important facet of freedom of speech and expression, and the Supreme Court in Swapnil Tripathi's case has said that sunlight is the best antiseptic, and therefore we have come in an era where the court proceedings are live telecasted. We have an example of Gujarat High Court, where the first time in the Indian legal history a court proceeding was live telecasted, and I personally believe that these are all public records by virtue of Section 74 of the Indian Evidence Act, and therefore I thank you that you have brought the truth before the masses.
Okay, well, I'll leave it at that, viewers. You've heard a spirited debate, you've seen some of the tapes, and you've heard Vishnu Shankar Jain, the man who is at the center of this entire litigation, speak his mind.
The visuals accessed by Times Now regarding the Gyanvapi controversy is extremely important. This proves to the fact and points out that the Shivling, as claimed by the Hindu side, is something to be strongly considered, and it has the structure and systems of what is conventionally considered as a Shivling, and also coupled it along with Nandi. I believe it is a very clinching and crucial aspect that society and judiciary need to take note of.